Let's go back to Walsh and the students. Do you accept international students at Walsh? Do you accept them from different Arab countries, or are you selective in a way where you choose them from certain countries where they come from an accredited university, or anyone just have to go through the process of applying?
No. Well, we are open to any country. I think our graduates, we're nearly 30 countries. We've seen students come from nearly 30 countries. We have an international advisor on staff, and her focus is entirely on trying to help students how they get through the paperwork to get here if they're not already in the U.S., what it means in terms of the workload, and do they want to go full-time, part-time, what's required from the government to get an F1 visa. And we look at the courses they've taken, and it's called articulation. We'll look and see if they've taken, say, an accounting course in wherever. You pick a country. You would look at what was the syllabus, what are the things they learned in that course, and then we'll talk to like the department chair for accounting and say, yes, we'll count that course towards our degree. So if you've taken some education overseas, typically some, or if not all of it, would transfer over to Walsh. Not unlike any other school. So we don't look at international students any differently, other than we feel we need to put our arms around them. So that's why my international advisor, she puts together a club for international students so they can kind of network, makes them feel more, at home.
They belong.
Yeah, you have to do that because it's lonely. If you or I decide we're going to go, do school in Germany, we're going to feel a little bit isolated and a little scared. So we try and help that a little softer.
And they can apply online and start their communication online.
Absolutely.
Now, if somebody's trying to apply for the fall, when is the deadline, or when does enrollment start?
Well, we still have a summer semester, so the enrollment's going right now. It starts the end of June. So we go inside. We have 4 semesters, so that's one of the nice things, is you don't have to wait until the fall like most colleges. I'm not trying to talk too hard about Walsh, but you don't have to wait till the fall. If you want to start in the fall, or you want to start in the winter, the spring, we have 4 semesters, so you can start. Our enrollment typically starts about 4 weeks before it begins, so we'll be beginning, I think it's the 1st or 2nd week in August to enroll. And if you're a brand new student to Walsh, you're in priority registration, so you get to pick your classes a week before anybody else. So
you get advantage.
There you go.
Now, how about the online classes? Everybody has a job. Does Walsh offer online classes and also evening classes?
Yeah. Almost all our classes are at night. We have some day courses, but again, with the working, 80% of our students working there, they're almost all at night. So they're from 6 p.m. to 9:40 or 9:50, depending on the instructor, whether they let them out early. They're not supposed to. But online is just huge right now. Not at Walsh, but it's everywhere. I mean, Harvard, Notre Dame, USC, Stanford, overseas. Everyone is starting to offer online because students are asking for it. It does give you that flexibility where you can go and get your assignments and then do them whether it's 6 in the morning or 12 at night. It gives the student flexibility to do it when they want. Probably the most popular is like a hybrid, where they have some courses on ground and then some online.
This was going to be my next question. Can you mix between sitting in a classroom and getting online classes?
Yeah, that is by far what we consider the best experience. Now, our online students, they tell us that their coursework is as rigorous, if not more so, than on ground. So because you are kind of it's not that you're self-taught, your professor is still, available to you online or by phone, but you don't get the necessarily the same experience as you would in the classroom with the constant questions going back and forth. There's some online, but it's not the same. So they like that online component. We have 11-week semesters, so they might have 3 or 4 classes online. They might, or whatever the mix is, but it helps them still.
Now, John, how would you describe diversity on campus? You mentioned that you have students from over 30 countries. To what extent do you feel there's cultural sensitivity among your professors, the team, administration at Walsh?
Well, I think in terms of our student base, we are relatively representative of the Metro Detroit market, but that's an ongoing challenge for us. In many communities, you really need to have a sponsor, somebody who represents that community. So I think I read there's 30,000 residents from Bangladesh living in, say, Hamtramck. So for me to just send somebody, like myself, born and raised in Royal Oak, Michigan, it's going to take me, it's going to be a little more difficult for me to become part of that community. So, but that's what we try and do. Again, my advisor, she tries to go out and build a relationship with someone so that they become a student, or we find an existing student who might be from Bangladesh and say, can you help us, meet? And you just want to go out, you don't want to hand out brochures, you want to really start to understand.
Relate to them, and they can relate to you.
Yeah, very much so, very much so.
Now, how do you think Walsh, if we were going to talk about like a bigger level, prepares the students to be able to compete in a global economy? We know in Detroit area, you are very active. Walsh as a whole is part of the Detroit Regional Chamber, that you attend a lot of conferences, a lot of connections are established. How do you make sure that you're also getting them ready to fit as part of the global economy?
I would say first off, a good chunk of our faculty has extensive international experience. We've got guys from OnStar, GM. We've got a woman right now who spends 3 days a week in Washington working on the security policy. I've got a guy from Pepsi, and all of them, and a guy from Coke, and all of them have a pretty strong background in international business. So that gets ingrained in their curriculum. Now, I'm not saying accounting is going to have a lot of international, but we do have a course on how to understand the new international accounting guidelines. So I would say it's always kind of woven into every course as a, it's in your front of your mind, not the back of your mind. And some of our courses are specifically geared towards international, doing business in. There might be a course, or a piece of a course is doing business in China, doing business in the Middle East. We also work on trying to do some seminars. We're planning one in June that is it's a collaboration between the Chaldean News and the Jewish News. They're coming together, and one of the topics we talked about is kind of the myths of globalization. It's kind of like you can't just put up a website and now you're global. So we're going to talk about the legal ramifications, all the things, the marketing responsibilities, all the things it takes to become a global business. So our students are invited to things like that.
Okay. So there's constant interaction between the students, companies, and as you mentioned, students are ready to face the real world. They're not only studying theories at Walsh.
Right.
So you get them prepared and ready. John, what is your final message to the professionals or high school students watching you right now, who are looking to pursue a degree? They're not sure what they want to do. Those who are in a job right now or are looking to change their career, what would you tell them?
Well, I'd love it for them all to come to Walsh, but I know that's not practical. I think the biggest thing is truly trying to, if you're either going to work in the industry or think you want to work in, or you talk to people about those industries. So you think you want to be an engineer, mechanic, try and find a way to talk with somebody. Contact a school. And it doesn't have to be Walsh. Call Wayne State, call Oakland. It doesn't matter, but I think it's better than to just say, I want to go to business. Walsh is the best business school. I'm going to go to Walsh. Again, love to have everybody come to Walsh, but make sure that's what you want to do. Do you really want to get yourself in a very narrow niche? I want to be an industrial engineer that focuses on supply chain management. Well, then you want to think about the program in the school that would best fit that. So if you want to go into accounting, then I think, again, Walsh would be a great opportunity. But do your homework, and I think that means beyond just going to websites and reading. I think it is trying to talk to somebody. Call a faculty chair, find a friend or neighbor who's in some sort of industry, and make sure that's what you want to do. Now
we know, John, Wednesdays, you accept walk-ins to talk to someone in the faculty? Okay. And that's all day long?
Yeah,
advisor?
Yeah, they can come in and talk to the advisors, financial aid officers, admissions, what's the criteria, but yeah, they can walk anytime Wednesday. We have walk-in Wednesdays, and it's open until 8, so it's 8:30 in the morning until 8 at night.
So even for those who are working, they still can make it?
Yeah, and honestly, you can come in any day. Just walk-in Wednesdays, we're open until 8, but you could come anytime until 5 o'clock during the day. We're more than happy to talk to people. And our advisors are, again, they're very realistic. They'll sit down and talk to you about your goals and see if what you're talking about makes sense, and then they'll talk about the types of programs that are available and make you feel comfortable in the process. And you can be admitted right on the spot sometimes as well. So.
John, thank you so much for being with us and for giving us this information about our careers and also Walsh. I want to remind everyone that they can visit the website at www.walshcollege.edu. It's never late to enroll and learn about the different programs. Thank you for watching MEA TV. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Walsh College. Live, breathe, business.